it is possible. There are so many ignorant commentary being pushed out and, under the cloak of intellectualism, but I know my duty to my people. I feel this intensely. I am absolutely certain of one thing, and that is that when all this is considered, at any time, at any stage in the conflict, or when the whole struggle is being considered, the only right judgment would be a man doing his duty to his people. If that is all that is said, I am completely satisfied. That is all really I want.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I present to you Ojukwu's last speech before his departure from Biafra. Ojukwu was a head of state of the now defunct Republic of Biafra. Biafra was the area that was made up of the then eastern region of Nigeria, the present-day southeast and south-south. On May 29, 1967, Ojukwu declared the whole of this area as the independent state of Biafra. Nigeria responded by declaring war against Biafra, and the war raged on for 3 years. More than 3 million lives were lost and properties worth billions of naira were destroyed. Biafra had no weapons to sustain the fight, and when it became clear that the Nigerian side was closing in on Biafra, Ojukwu took the decision to leave Biafra as quickly as possible. Ojukwu's 1st and 2nd Command headquarters were captured by the Nigerian troops. Owerri, the last command enclave, was also crumbling into the hands of the Nigerian troops. All was not well, and the fall of Biafra was just a matter of time, and the time was ticking really fast. Ojukwu's initial decision was for him to leave Biafra quietly without any announcement, without a meeting held with stakeholders, and before his departure, Sir Louis Mbanefo, Chief Justice of Biafra, suggested to Ojukwu that he should make a speech to the people to explain his absence. What to tell the people then became a problem. More so, Ojukwu was not ready to announce a surrender at the time. It was then suggested that he should inform the people in his broadcast that he was going abroad for, in quote, in search of peace. But in truth, Ojukwu was leaving Biafra to take Asylum in Ivory Coast, and there was no plan for him to return to Biafra and continue with the fight. The insignia on Ojukwu official vehicle went thus: "To thyself be true." On this occasion, Ojukwu was true to himself that the war was lost and that his dream of Biafra had become an impossibility. He then opted to flee. In the end, Ojukwu was forced to leave Biafra. In the last flight from Biafra, here is a full text of the last speech broadcast on Radio Biafra on January 9, 1970. In quote, "Proud and heroic Biafrans, fellow countrymen and women, once again I salute you. My government has been reviewing the progress of this war that has now raged for the last 2.5 years with increasing fury. It's well that we have survived. It's well that at each stage we remind ourselves of the purpose of this war, that we are fighting to safeguard, and why we are so determined to continue to defend ourselves. You have borne the brunt of the strings of this war. You have suffered unmentionable privation at the hands of an enemy that used every conceivable weapon, particularly the weapon of starvation, against an innocent people whose only crime is that they choose to live in peace and security according to their own beliefs, and away from a country that had condemned and rejected them. Your heroism as a people has sustained our gallant armed forces in defending the territory of our fatherland and in giving you that protection that we also ardently need and desire. You have had your villages and homes ravaged and plundered, your assets destroyed, millions of your sons and daughters murdered in cold blood, and your youth condemned to misery by the enemy's recent movement and indiscriminate shelling and bombing of hamlets, villages, and refugees in their camps and on their road. All this sacrifice has been in their interest and with the sole purpose of achieving security, which was the main motive for forcing our taking up arms to defend ourselves. We had proclaimed ourselves a republic, independent and sovereign, because we were and are satisfied that only through it will we guarantee our security. Nevertheless, we left the door open and declared on several occasions that we welcome any initiative that afford us all the security we need. Each time we had said so, Our enemies and distractors have mischievously distorted our statement. We are entitled, in the light of our recent experience, to demand to know what measures have been proposed to our security. He went on to say, still in quote, the task of a leader of a people at war is to be responsive to the plight of a people, to determine what level of sacrifice can be accepted. Your patriotism has exceeded all expectation and earned worldwide admiration for your fortitude. And with your mandate, I have striven to apply the force at our disposal to the best of our ability against overwhelming odds. Throughout, we have made strenuous efforts for peace, taking initiative of our own to guide our adversaries to settle our conflicts at the conference table. Each time, a callous word has imposed a new set of conditions. Each conditions that we fulfill give rise to an entirely new one. More recently, some friends of both sides have made some proposals for an arrangement with Nigeria that in our view we offer to be our friends, the security to which we aspire. This has been referred to as certain forms of union, confederacy and peace with Nigeria. Ojukwu continued, still in quote, once more to show her honesty and in accord with my frequent affirmations that I will personally go anywhere to secure peace and security for my people. I'm now traveling out of Biafra to explore with our friends all these proposals, further and fully, and to be at hand to settle these issues to the best of our ability, always serving the interests of my people. Our distractors may see this move as a sign of collapse of our struggle or an escape from my responsibilities. If God helping me, we can, by this letter, show of earnestness, secure for our people the end of destruction of our homes and property. I shall be satisfied that this venture on which I embark with your blessing has yet to be completed. I am now traveling out of Biafra to explore with our friends all these yielded fruits. I know that your prayers go with me as I go in search of peace and that, God willing, I shall soon be back among you. He then added, in quote, in my short absence, I have arranged for the Chief of General Staff, Major General Philip Effiong, to administer the government with the rest of the cabinet to run the affairs of the Republic while I go on this mission, accompanied by my political advisor and the Chief Secretary. I once more pay my tribute to the Biafran armed forces and urge all ranks to maintain their positions while I seek an early honorable end to this struggle and all the suffering it has brought on our people. Proud and courageous Biafrans, noble Biafrans, Biafra shall live. God bless you all. End of quote. Ojukwu then left Biafra at night at what became the last flight from Biafra. For the ordinary people of Biafra, Ojukwu was indeed traveling abroad in search of peace and would soon come back to Biafra for their sake. But for the members of Ojukwu War Cabinet and for Ojukwu himself, the truth about the broadcast was that Ojukwu had given up on the war and was in fact leaving Biafra with no intention to return. To take Asylum in Ivory Coast, Ojukwu departure was in fact the end of independent state of Biafra. The broker was recorded on tape and announced intermittently on Radio Biafra. Ojukwu flee out of Biafra with his wife, members of his cabinet, and their children, together with all such persons that were lucky to make the flight. The flight, a cargo plane, took off from the Uli airport at night. The plane did not have the conventional ladder for passengers to climb onto. A makeshift ladder had to be used and the people moving in a serious panic, with some persons almost falling off the ladder. The plane had only 4 seats for passengers and the seats were occupied by Ojukwu, his wife, his political advisor, Dr. Make Okpara, and the last seat was occupied by Mr. N. Yogma, a secretary to Biafra. All other passengers either stood in the plane or sat on their luggage made of rags and all manner of items which reminded them of the war-torn Biafra. The passengers had to endure this for 5 hours of the flight to Ivory Coast. It is reported also that as the plane was making its way out of Biafra, the plane was repeatedly shot at by the federal troops that were on ground in Biafra. But thanks to the maneuvering of the highly experienced and courageous pilots that were in charge of the plane would have perhaps crashed to the ground. If the plane had crashed, scores of humans, including Ojukwu, would have lost their life. The last flight from Biafra was indeed a frightening flight by all reasonable assessment. The passengers and crew had their heart literally in their hands. They feared for the worst, but they were not afraid. But by divine providence, the plane safely zoomed out of the Biafran and the Nigerian air base and landed safely at the military base in Ivory Coast, and the passengers then began another phase of their life with a future so uncertain and bleak right in front of them. They were offered accommodation by the government of Felix Borne, who was the president of Ivory Coast at that time. The story of the Nigerian Biafra War is indeed a story that can be told in several volumes, and the story shall remain in the minds of the Igbo people of Nigeria, the minds of others, and in the history books of the world for many more years to come. I hope you've learned one or two. If you've enjoyed this video so far, please do well to subscribe. Give this video a like, comment, and share. I will see you in the next video. Bye.